And I'm 17 and haven't been away from home, living with a lot of fear. I mean, it was just the perfect setup let's just push him over the edge. Let's just see if we can't really mess him up now. And I go to basic training of the Army in Fort Polk, Louisiana in the middle of winter. So they broke us all down. You know, all of us end up sick. All of us end up, upper respiratory infections. And then they threatened to put me through basic again. And just the bottom drops out. And one night, I get outside and I don't make it even to the top of the hill, and I'm just bawling my eyes out. And all of this anger toward God starts to come out of me. I can never please you. I can never do it. I can never make it. And so I'm saying it for the first time in my life and absolutely sure I'm going to get it. And really, I'm just sitting there at the top of the hill going, okay, go ahead, take your best shot. Here I am, sitting there in total just emptiness, and I feel a hand on my head, and I hear my name in a way I've never heard it before my life. I can never even tell it, and it rewires my brain. It's like, wait a minute, who is this? What is this?
Hey, we want to welcome you. This is cool. We've been talking about this for a while, to actually start an official podcast here at the church. And the whole reason that I wanted to start this was because this church has amazing people in it. I'm telling you, amazing stories. And when you get a bigger church, it's harder for people to even realize who goes here, like who they're running with. And we see them because they're sitting over here and this person's over here. And so over the last 10 years, I've been here 10 years, I've heard amazing stories. And then, of course, podcasts start and these interviews and hearing people's stories. It's fascinating. I thought, man, we got to do this, not for like cool stories out there, but for people right here in our own church. And hopefully you, people within our own church, will listen to this and discover the amazing God stories that we have right here within Grace Church. So we're going to start with...
You're way more relational than I am. I always feel inferior when I'm with you on that level, because I think, oh man, I wish I was more like that.
Well, I appreciate that. But we wanted to start with you as our very first official, recording for this podcast, because this is where it all started, with Ron Tucker himself. And we're going to just talk about all kinds of things. But the first thing that I would like to get into is just Christianity itself. And here's the reason. I've got an 18-year-old and down to an 11-year-old. And in the age of podcast, in the age of TikTok, opinions everywhere, it seems that Christianity right now it's so easily defined. And people have all kinds of opinions and influencers, and you get this guy that has 1 million or 2 people following him, and that thinks that, people think then, well, he's got something to say, and you lean in, and you're like, what he's saying is crazy.
I know.
So let's start with that.
And the question is, how do you know it's really him?
and then we got to deal with that.
I'm listening
with AI.
I'm listening to Victor,
made up people.
I'm listening to Victor Davis Hanson the other day. So Debbie and I have been watching. He's been doing like podcast after podcast, and I'm thinking, this is an old guy. How is he doing this? And they're brilliant. And so the other day, I noticed that I was on his podcast. And he comes on and he says, oh, and by the way, this is not me that you're watching. He said, this is not me. I'm not doing those podcasts. That's all AI.
And it was video and everything.
Somebody is making up podcasts with him on it. And it's right now at this point, you can't tell the difference. So this may be the last. This is really us.
Because I want to say that this is really me, Wes Martin.
We're going to prove that we are really here.
I mean, we may have to start asking questions that no one else would know but ourselves.
Yeah, but you can make it up. It's just we're in such deep weeds right now.
We really are, and it's only going to get deeper.
The level of deception is beyond anything.
So let's start then. just because the reason that the crux here that we're in this is Christianity, that we are believers in Christ, disciples of Jesus. You've been almost your entire life. You've been around Jesus in church. So let's just start there, Ron. How do you define what does this even mean? What does it even mean, to be a Christian? Like this is your primary identity, a follower of Jesus. What's that even mean anymore?
That's that question has all kinds of little tributaries to it. I mean, the thing that I always have to go back to my experience. As a little bitty guy, I had a sensitivity to God that was a little bit extraordinary, I guess, in the sense that, I sort of remember getting saved at 4. Most people don't have recollections of 4, but I have recollections of 4 as going to the altar and accepting Jesus. And it's just kind of weird now that I've realized that.
But you can remember it.
Yeah. I wanted God, but I was unfortunately in a church that had a very contorted idea of what a relationship with the Lord looked like. And so, I spent a lot of tortured years trying to please an unpleasable God, and trying to figure that out. And
because I'm assuming because of like the rules applied to it, the fear that's not necessarily a healthy fear of God.
Oh, it was not a healthy fear at all. It was fear of hell. Jesus coming and me getting left, and one sin will get you out of the kingdom. And I was always getting saved and resaved. And you guys called it in Baptist world rededicated. We just called it getting saved, and so
and one day it'll finally stick.
Right. One day you're going to know because your behavior or something's going to change, and there was a lot of emotionalism attached to it. And so it was very insecure. I was very insecure about my salvation and my relationship with the Lord. And always, that was the biggest thing for me is I wanted security. I wanted a sense that I was in. Yeah. And that I was not going to get lost overnight, and it was actually the height of the Vietnam War. I don't want to go to Vietnam.
So wait a second. So from 4 till you're 18 years old.
Okay, 17 is when I joined the Army.
But from 4 to then, you live in security, in this torment.
Total torment. Total torment.
Of just not ever really knowing.
No, and
am I in or am I out?
It went kind of in an insane direction.
Wow.
It went way out there. That my parents were concerned about me because they, fear and just so much insecurity. But it was being driven by the church.
Yeah, by the messaging and the
oh my
preaching
gosh,
of the
they were
church.
doing it to me. I mean, they'd take me to these sermons that I was held over hell by a thread. And so,
wow.
So anyway, so the whole Vietnam thing is blowing up, and we had a first sergeant in the Army Reserve in our unit, in our church, was in the choir, and he said, I can get Ron in. I know Ron could get in because he's 17 right now, because every living person my age was wanting in the reserve, because the reserve weren't getting called up at that point. The draft was in full operation. And so it was pretty sure that I was going to get drafted and get sent over this. This is before the lottery, before any of the things that they implemented. And so I had this little window, and I'm 17 and haven't been away from home, living with a lot of fear. I mean, it was just the perfect setup let's just push him over the edge. Let's just see if we can't really mess him up now. And I go to basic training in the Army in Fort Polk, Louisiana, in the middle of winter, which everybody's getting sick. One of the 49ers football players in our unit, and he's in the hospital. Everybody's getting sick, and
just because the heat.
Heat, cold. It was January. It's miserable down there. It rains the whole time.
And how far is this from like where you grew up? Like how far?
Not that far.
Okay, so it's
but
really close.
you're in an isolated world, and they had a little Vietnam at Fort Polk, and it was a horrible place. It's where the Marines were. Not Marines, where the Green Beret were being trained, Rangers. It was was a gnarly place. They had
Wow.
Some pretty gnarly people.
Yeah.
And so they knew a bunch of us were reservists, and so they decided to make it,
Awful.
hell for us as much as they
They're
possibly
going to torment
could.
you as much as possible.
Yeah. So they broke us all down. All of us end up sick. All of us end up, upper respiratory infections, and then they threatened to put me through basic again. I'm getting halfway through, and they're ready to put me through basic again, and just the bottom drops out. Just of my whole life, and if you've ever experienced this, where there's a knot in your throat, and if I don't get this out, I'm going to choke. I mean, I've got to get somewhere alone where I can just express what's building up inside of me. And we weren't allowed out of the barracks. And one night, I get outside and somehow get outside, which, I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but I walk up to this bayonet field. It's right outside the barracks we were, and I don't make it even to the top of the hill, and I'm just bawling my eyes out. And all of this anger toward God starts to come out of me, of just
been building up a while.
too. It's been building for my whole life.
This whole thing is fear driven.
It's like it's never enough.
Right.
It's never enough. I can never do enough. I can never please you. I can never do it. I can never make it. And so I'm saying it for the first time in my life, and absolutely sure I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the fireball I've always thought would happen to people that did.
To basically strike you dead.
Absolutely.
Because you don't do that to God.
I had faith.
Yeah, that was what
I
you
had
had faith
in the God of vengeance, and the God of
vengeance. The God of hell, judgment, torment.
Oh my gosh, I had dreams and visions of hell. And so that's
intense.
Yeah, it was really intense. And so I cried my eyes out, got it all out, and really I'm just sitting there at the top of the hill going, okay, go ahead, take your best shot. Here I am, get it over with you. This is what you wanted to do. And, well, you know what happened. I mean, the reverse of that happened. I mean, I'm sitting there in total just emptiness, and I feel a hand on my head, and I hear my name in a way I've never heard it before my life. I can never even tell it. And it rewires my brain. It's like, wait a minute, who is this? What is this? And
now, let me back up for a second, because when you say like I felt a hand on my head, like you really felt that someone was there.
It was like warm oil pouring down through my body, and I'm hearing my name, and I'm pretty sure it's not audible, but it's as real to me as if somebody were yelling it at me, and it's rewiring me. I don't know how to explain that, but it's rewiring me in a moment.
Yeah,
in a moment, and I knew right then I'll never be the same. I'll never think of God again. So like 18 years of my life in one moment is changed. All these verses that I've learned as a kid, like John 3:16, I get it for the first time in my life. I get it sitting there on a bayonet field at Fort Polk, Louisiana. I get that God so loved the world. So that's what this is all about. It's not me loving you, it's you loving me. And so I'm so overcome by this that I am in a bubble. I don't even know how to describe it. It's real. It's like a bubble, a shield of light that for days I'm walking around, I'm eating food, I'm doing all the things the other guys, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, out on the bayonet field, picking up cigarette butts and doing all the things everybody else is doing, getting yelled at, screamed at in my face, doing PT, doing all this stuff, but I'm in a bubble.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're distracted.
I keep saying, God, you're real. You're real for crying out loud. You're real. You love me.
Which is cool. So you, because you have this experience in the middle of the night when you sneak out. I'm assuming you up there for an hour, 30 minutes, something, when you go out there.
I don't know. Time disappears.
And then you come back in, and I'm just trying to imagine, you go back to bed, and it's almost like one of those things like, oh God, don't let me lose this. You wake up the next day, and it's there.
Well, except that I didn't have any of that. I didn't have anything to evaluate this by. It wasn't anything that I had ever talked to anybody about, experienced, knew anything about. So I didn't come back to the barracks going, I hope I hold on to this. I came back to the barracks going, what is this? What happened to me? And I went to sleep. And I woke up the next day, and in the morning, he's still there. It's still real to me. Yeah. And so I'm still walking around in this, not fog, but sort of like I'm cushioned. I'm in a cushion. And the cushion is just real. It's a person. It's real to me. And so I'm talking to God different. I'm singing songs to the Lord, and they're meaning more to me. And I'm crying. Tears are coming to my eyes, and wow. And so I go through this whole 5. So I finished basic, and then you go to on the job training, which they sent me to Fort Hood, Texas. And the Lord is still so real to me that I'm walking out in the middle of the night. Fort Hood is just this massive, empty plain, and you don't go out on fields in the middle of the night. There's rattlesnakes all over the place, and there's just all kinds of crazy critters. And yet I had to get alone. I had to be by myself where I could just relate to God, and where I could just, cry and, just blubber and go, you're real, you're real, you're real. And so I'm thinking, I tried to go to church. I tried to find a church that was like mine. And
when you're at Fort Hood,
when I'm at Fort Hood, and I'm going to church, and I'm going, you're not here. This isn't it. I'm not relating to you here. I'm relating to you out on the field. I'm relating to you in my life. So I didn't know what to make of that. But I'm talking it through, my parents, I'm talking to them saying, I don't think I'm the same person. I don't think you're going to recognize me. I don't think you're going to know who I am, because they've known this insecure, fear-driven, just hurt. My dad really worried that I was going to make it in life. I mean, that was how he admitted.
You were crippled. I mean, just the anxiety, the fear was crippling.
Big time.
Wow.
So he was concerned that I wouldn't make it as an adult. So I keep saying, I don't think I'm the same guy. I don't think anything's the same.
And were you did you tell them no, when I was in Louisiana, I went out, this happened, the
I've had an encounter with the Lord, and I don't know, I don't understand it, and I don't know what it means.
And did they have language to put to it?
Other than Dad had friends and people in his past. He had been part of some, revival stuff within the early days of the assemblies. And so anyway, yeah, I mean, we were experiential, people to begin with.
Yeah.
So
this is a whole different grid of God. This is
they didn't know that
paradigm.
They didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time.
Interesting.
I didn't know whether this would stay.
Yeah.
I just wondered if maybe this is because, I'm in the Army. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is because I'm in this, unusual situation, or I've had a break with reality. I don't know. But I come back, and nothing's the same. Nothing's normal. I mean, it's all still real to me. It's still real to me. I'd go out, and because I'm living at home and I can't express all the stuff that's happening inside me, I'd go out the dark in our garage. I had a little clunker of a car. I'd get in the front or back seat. I think the back seat, so I could lay down, And I just cry for a while.
Wow.
And just talk to God and go, and I didn't have much to say other than, you're real. You're real. Why didn't nobody tell me you're real? Wow. You're real, Lord. You're real. You're real. You're real. So, move that a little bit forward. My friends who knew me before, who knew this, insecure, kind of guy, depressed. I mean, I've even got pictures of myself in my high school year. It's classic, just depressed.
You can see it.
Oh, gosh, just really sad guy.
Dang.
And so I have friends, that knew me and are going, what in the world? Just what in the world? I said, I don't know. I have no explanation for this. I don't know other than he's real to me. Mm. He's real to me. And this is the way I would talk to him.
Yeah.
I would talk to him. And of course, so we need Kleenex. So of course, I'm at this stage of not being able to explain it to him, which just made him more curious. And so the more we talk, the more they're saying, well, how do I get it?
Yeah. And during this time, like even in Fort Polk, then Fort Hood, now you're back home, are you in the scriptures? Are you opening the Bible? Are you trying to make sense of things? Or are the scriptures new to you? Or like, what was that like?
Well, the grid's changed. Suddenly, I know that God's relatable.
So you're definitely seeing scriptures with a new perspective.
With a whole new perspective.
Yeah,
and I'm feeling secure for the first time in my life.
Yeah, huge.
So I'm not afraid to read the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of what scripture would say, because I think, no, I know this is real.
Yeah.
I know I'm not out.
Yeah.
I know I'm in.
It's as
I know
if
I'm
you
really in.
And you really know the author. You're like, okay, this book has changed because I know him. This is the God. Because I like that you keep saying over and over again that he was real, that he was alive.
Yeah. Long story short, we start this group of kids that are in our church. We start talking and praying together, and I don't even know how to put an explanation on what happened other than God started moving among these kids and emotional. It was emotional. Yeah. There was a lot of, what's happening to me? God's becoming real to me, and, kind of stuff. And so it was emotional. Well, our youth leader got really insecure, I guess. And came in one night, we're laying hands on each other and praying, and
just a small group of them.
Yeah. Well, it was growing. That probably led to the insecurity. And he came in one night and just put the kibosh on it. Just said, "Oh, this is wildfire. Yeah, wildfire is worse than no fire. We know this is not God. This is not real." And so, he just shut it all down. And so, this group that I'm with are going, this is real. This can't be happening. This is supposed to be the place where we're allowed to do this, to have encounters with the Lord. And I say, I don't know what to do about it. So at the same time, I'm talking to people at college. I'm going down the street to UMSL, and similar things are starting to happen there. Young people are starting to encounter the Lord, just listening to me talk about this experience I've had, and getting them to read the New Testament, get them to read, the Gospels. And so I tried to drag them to our church, and they kept saying, they don't want us there. They don't want us there, Ron. You teach us. And I'm thinking, I know about this much more than you do.
I don't know what to teach you.
I don't know what to teach you. I have no idea. Everything I've been taught undoubtedly had to be wrong. So what would I teach you? And so we started meeting in my parents' basement. My dad had just, put some paneling up in the basement. I mean, we're on the concrete and sitting in an ugly 60s, 70s basement. And, but we're singing and we're I'd pick up a guitar and we start to learn to sing.
Was he a part of those as well?
Yeah. The one thing that was so amazing about my dad is that he knew this was real.
Yeah.
And didn't want to kill it.
Yeah, he saw his son completely transformed over the last couple of years.
And he didn't want to kill it. And so that was his. My dad had a lot of similar character traits or personality. He was very relational, and so he really kind of facilitated. Okay, we were just opening our house, and he and Mom, I to this day, I wouldn't have done what they did. I mean, they just let all kind of bedlam happen. We had just open house there. I mean, we were casting devils out of people. And
were you doing this every day or like 1 or 2 days a week?
It turned into a lot of that kind of stuff. But we were, at one point, we were meeting 2 times a week, a big meeting. And then, we filled up sometimes our entire street with cars 2 times a week. How we ended up in that neighborhood. This is just a little, I could tell you where the neighborhood here is, right in Creve Coeur. And
the neighbors probably weren't super thrilled.
I couldn't figure that out, how in the world they put up with this. But then it got even crazier that we were burning witchcraft and stuff, records and all kind of weird stuff on our driveway and the garbage cans. I mean, we were having, we were at this point, it was a revival, and yet I'm sure from the outside it looked kind of bizarre. But that's where, life change really started. That's where it really took off. And so a Baptist Costal guy, he had been trained as a Baptist pastor, but he had experienced some things, and so they were open to a group like us. He said, "You ought to come over and use our building, on Saturday nights." And so that's how we ended up with this other group of people, and we would go and use this place. And they were meeting in an old firehouse on Ashby Road, so not too far from here. So that's where it all began.
So then you got these young people that are asking you for something. The church is, complicated, and the church is trying to define it, and sometimes throughout church history.
Well, they haven't even defined themselves. I mean, they were as confused as we were.
So so then, if you could go back to say, just as far as the idea of Christianity, like what were you calling people to? Like just in real simple terms, what do you think it was?
Relationship.
Yeah, with Jesus.
With Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could have it.
That is so crazy that going in and out of church your entire life and you didn't really understand you could do that, because that's what it's all about.
You served the Lord, but he wasn't really crazy about you. He didn't really want to be close to you. He didn't really want to be part of everything. He wasn't crazy about you. And that's what, I didn't even have the words. I didn't have those words to describe it, but I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt he's just crazy about me. He just, it's like David. He delivers me because he delights in me. Yeah. He just really enjoys me. I mean, God just gets me on a level that I just can't even tell you. I just can't tell you how he gets me, how he understands me, how he fixed my brain. He understood me in a way that nobody else could, and suddenly I'm understood. And by the only person that it matters, and now your opinion of me doesn't matter. It's just his. And not that I was trying to be goofy, but just that's what rewired me, and that's what was so appealing
to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I had a guy follow me from a class at UMSL, follow me all the way out to my car one day, going, okay, I've been on this. I've been seeking God my whole life. I even joined a monastery for a while. How do I get what you got? And I said, I don't know. I haven't been able to figure this out yet. I said, a bunch of us are meeting tonight. Why don't you and your wife come? That night.
At your dad's house?
Yeah, my dad's house. That night, he and his wife get gloriously saved and filled with the Spirit and are just sitting there just crying, basking in the presence of God, and it just totally changes their life. And that's the kind of salvations that were happening. It was so glorious because we didn't have a grid for what was possible and what was impossible.
Yeah.
We just had this relational thing that God was doing, and He was drawing people into it, and it was magnetic, and
Wow.
And so, yeah. So anyway,
So did the fear or the anxiety, like the fear, like you as a teenager, young kid, you have this idea of God that is wrong. It's not a right idea. Well, there's actually truths of it. It's just an incomplete idea, I guess is a better way to say it.
it's one aspect of God's
That's
personality.
right. But then you have this radical, really a conversion. Did you, like you go on into your 20s, et cetera, did that ever get a hold of you again, or did that ever torment you again? Like, how did you keep that old view of God out? And what did that look like? Was it ever a struggle ever again, or no?
Oh yeah, it was a struggle.
It's
It's been a struggle my whole life, but it wasn't toward God. It stopped being toward God. There were, I don't know. I think certain individuals, and I was one of them, as a little bitty kid, just got devastated by probably some outside influences and some things that I don't even know that I want to go back and figure out fully.
Sure.
But that created this kind of tear, in the fabric of my mind, and I believe to a great degree the Lord has healed that.
Wow.
But I can that can get opened up again if I drift in my relationship with Him. And there have been some seasons, as in the last 30 years, 40 years, that that tear has started to haunt me again. But always the thing that heals it, always the thing that pulls me out of it, is the relational side of this thing. And probably 15, 16 years ago, I got back on the track. Had a friend who took some of the stuff that I was teaching years and years and years ago about relationship with the Lord and brought it back to me and said, you can actually turn this into prayer and start to ask God for these things that, happen to you. And I started praying those prayers, and, it's now we routinize it as a fellowship and trust prayers, but it brought the relationship back. It brought all the closeness back, and perfect love cast out fear.
Yeah.
Perfect love cast out fear.
What would you say that you drifted into? If you came back to kind of this relational dynamic, what was it that you, if you could look back and say, man, I got into what? Like, what was it?
It's always works. It's always an attempt to prove yourself,
which is what you battled with as a kid.
Exactly. It's always we gravitate toward works. It's in our DNA. It's the fallen part of us.
Trying to prove ourselves.
Trying to prove ourselves. Trying to be something. And I got in with other young guys who were in ministry and who were in my mind succeeding.
Yeah.
And I started drifting away from who I was and who God was to me, and the relational dynamic. And I started drifting into some of the principles and leadership, this and this, that, and the other thing. And before long, your relationship with the Lord is starting to be a little bit built on, your success at what you're doing, and then before you know it, you're off to the races again. And
isn't that the truth?
Oh my gosh!
Because you would think, as pastors, when we are, our jobs is to disciple and teach the Bible, and yet that ends up becoming the very thing that gets us off track.
Success is
trying to earn our way to the Lord and our approval before the Lord.
If the devil can't beat you, he'll join you. You know, he'll say, "Yeah, you look at you.
Yeah,
you really are.
Yeah,
look, what young guy has a church of, several thousand people, and
wow,
yeah." And then other people come along and they validate all of that, and it's like that was never what this was about.
Mm-hmm.
That was never. But suddenly it became what it was about. And then, all those things fall apart. And I look back and it grieves me how many young guys just lost their way.
Yeah.
Went down the same track I did, never came back.
Yeah.
Ever came back. So, I'm just grateful to God. I'm grateful that he, I don't know, there was a homing beacon back there somewhere that got instilled in me that this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not it.
Yeah.
Whatever this is, I'm on the wrong track because this is not why I got into this.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I signed up to know Jesus and to have
it's a relationship that's real, something real, authentic, genuine.
And you see it. The Psalms were so precious to me, and you see it with David. He's the one guy who maintains that tenderness with the Lord to the end.
That's really true.
And nobody else did.
Mm-hmm.
I guess some of the prophets did, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their relationship with the Lord was like.
Mm-hmm.
It was, when you have angels appearing and all that kind of stuff, I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
But I know with David, it was intimacy. It was the relational dynamic.
Childlike faith.
Yeah.
He had it, probably lost it, but then he gains it back.
He would get it back.
He'd get it back.
And that's what would give me so much hope is you can get back from wherever you go.
That's right. Yeah, that's why I even started with this, because Christianity, again, with so many opinions and so many podcasts, so many voices, TikTok and Reels, it gets so complicated. We add so many things to it. And it's really simple, actually. It's a relationship with our Creator that God desires us.
Don't ever lose that little phrase. God
That's right.
desires us.
Yeah. It's a game changer.
That changes the whole world.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trying to get his attention.
Right.
It's not like I'm trying to do something. It's like, you're here. I love just being with you. I didn't have words when I encountered the Lord. I didn't have anything. I was just a broken human, and yet I had this overwhelming sense of how much He enjoyed me, and I think that's the way I want to live it out. That's the way I want to end my life. Mm-hmm. As that guy, he knew the Lord enjoyed him. He knew the Lord enjoyed him. I want to live that. I want to live in that. Do I? No. All the time? No. I have my moments where I feel really enjoyed by God, but I want to live there all the time.
Yeah.
I want to get there to where I feel that all the time.
So, however many years ago you said, you kind of get redirected back into believing that this was attainable because you got off track,
right,
as you would say. Well, so, and I know you mentioned the fellowship and trust prayers. Break that down for us then. Help somebody to get back on track. Like, how do you do it? How do you stay on track, even though you don't live there perfectly, but you want to, but you have, I'm sure, discovered a few things that really help you, whether they're practical things you say, mindsets. Like, take us through that. What's that look like for Ron to go after that dream you just said that you wanted to be known by? Like, man, he's enjoyed by God and he believes it. How do you get there? How do you stay there?
Well, one of the, again, I keep going back to David. David had this relational language for God. I think of it this way. I think of it in marriage. I think, okay, if you don't have a relational language, your relationship's going to get real cold. It's going to get real
And when you say relational language,
I mean, do you have like a love, like, oh, you're my little sweetie. I just love you so much. You were so precious. You were so, I love you. You do that with an animal.
yeah,
But when you bring that into your marriage with each other, I had a friend who was the farthest thing from this. He was a lawyer kind of guy, but he married a friend of mine who was just a real outgoing personality, and he picked it up. He developed this very relational language between he and his wife. And to this day, I mean, they're just an example to me of what a good marriage ought to be, because they have so embodied this affectionate embrace, and it influenced me. It influenced me in my relationship with Debbie. I noticed that when I put that on and I start to say those words to her, we're drawn together. You know, it draws us together. I know I noticed when I got a cat and I started talking baby talk with my cat, and I brought it over in my relationship with her, that it drew me in to that relationship. Well, the same thing happens with God. If we don't have relational language for God, it just becomes this, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. It's just
like mechanical.
It's mechanical, and that's the last thing this is. This is a person who's listening to you.
Yeah.
Would you do that with a person who's delighting in you, who's just head over heels about you? No. Well, then why are you doing it? Because you don't really believe that.
That's right.
So, okay, so I believe it. What do I say? Well, David's got the language for it.
Yeah, it's actually in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, here's a guy that actually, I give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I worship you, Lord, with all of my heart and my soul. My soul follows hard after you. As a deer pants for the water brooks in the desert. Oh, my soul thirsts for you. I yearn for you, Lord. I wait for you in the night season. I mean, who says that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
You know, but those are not the Psalms we major on. You know, those are not the Psalms anybody, I wasn't aware of anybody doing that. Well, we started writing songs to that stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing about a song is you can sing a song, you can sing love songs that you'd feel weird quoting. I mean, think about all the crazy love songs that people sing.
Right.
And if they were to quote those words, it'd be like, dude, seriously, that's really strange. You know, but in a song, you can say it.
Yeah.
And so in singing those songs to the Lord, it changed the dynamic. It was like, oh, well, here's a way to stabilize this. Here's a way to get back there, to go back to that place, you know. And we would sing a lot of these. Some of them were very pensive, but there were scripture, solid scripture, and it was like, okay, I know the Lord really esteems this. He really likes this, and I could say those things to the Lord, and I could feel the affirmation. I could feel the Holy Spirit saying, "Oh yeah, do that again. Say that to me again."
Wow.
And so that was like the ground bed of it. These prayers really just kind of routinized that. They just helped me get back to it real quick. They give me language for saying, you know, God, fill me to overflowing with your love. I want to know the height, the depth, the breadth, the width of your love. I want to experience it till it overflows my heart. I want to be filled with all the fullness of God that comes from knowing your love. Touch me with your love. Strengthen me in my inner man so that Christ can dwell in my heart through faith, so that I, being rooted and grounded, would be able to know these things. Paul got it, and he knew how to not only keep it going in his own life, but to pray it for others. That this really is the ground of the Christian life. It's encounter. It's this relational dynamic that God wants us to have with him.
Right. I want to go back. I pulled up Psalm 9. Because this was in our daily Bible reading. It says, Psalm 9, this is verse 1. I will praise you, Lord, with all of my heart. Now, just imagine this warrior kind of guy, because you were saying the lawyer learned this language. Well, David had this language, this warrior. He says, I'm going to praise you with all of my heart. He says, I will tell all of the marvelous things you have done. And then here, this is what caught me this morning. He said, I will be filled with joy because of you. I will sing praises to your name, O Most High. That's pretty relational language. I will be filled with joy because of you. I will love you with all of my heart. Because the key is staying with it. Because, if somebody's hearing this and you're thinking, man, I don't feel God at all. My heart's not moving in this relational way. My relationship with God is very institutionalized. It's very mechanical, because maybe that's all you've known. But the Bible does teach a very different experience, and you're testifying to this. What would you say to someone who's like intrigued by this, leaning in, and then begins to do it, begins to put this kind of language on their lips? They feel awkward. But nothing's out of the gate. Nothing's changing.
Okay, well, so when you say nothing's changing, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for God to put his hand on your head and speak your name? That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
What I am looking for, first of all, realize that David sang those words.
Yeah.
He didn't just say them.
Yeah.
He sang them. Those were all songs.
Yeah. This one is even introduced.
Yeah, it's a
song of David.
So he would sing it, to the Lord over and over. And what you're wanting is for the awkwardness of it to disappear. For what you're wanting is it's weird because these are words that I've never used before.
Yeah, I'm not used
because
to this.
This is language I've never used with the Lord. This is a way of talking to God that I've never done. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, I get that, but you can do it.
Yeah,
you can do it, and if you will continue to do it, first of all, the walls will come down.
Yep,
and the awkwardness will go, and it'll start to feel okay, and then it'll change again. And your heart will go, I really want this.
Yeah.
I really do love you, Lord.
Something feels right about this.
I do love you, Lord, with all my heart. My soul does follow hard after you, God. I am passionate about you. When does that happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it will happen.
Yeah.
Because God is not a respecter of persons.
Right.
Because he didn't look at David and go, okay, well, this guy is special. He's a man after my own heart. Nobody else can get there. No, everybody can get there. Mm-hmm. But this is the way you get there. Mm-hmm. David spent hours out in the wilderness with sheep, with a little harp, singing these words to the Lord. Mm-hmm. And it broke down all the wall of awkwardness. Maybe that's the right word.
Yeah, I think it is.
The awkwardness to where you feel that it's okay. Okay, so we get a kitty, at first, my friend had a cat, and he was doing all that, and I thought, I'm not ever going to do that. I'm not going to do that with my cat. Well, it wasn't more than 2 or 3 months, and I'm got all kind of little kitty language going, and stuff. And how did it happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was awkward in the beginning, but it got to be real normal, and I could see my cat was really responding to it, and I'm responding to it, and then we have this whole little cuddle thing going, and I mean, that's the way love works. I mean, my heart, that's why I always looked at these statements Jesus made. He said, your heart, where you place your treasure is where your heart follows. Mm-hmm. Where do you invest your time? What do you say? Where do you invest your words?
Yeah.
Invest some words, invest some time in saying words to God.
Wow.
Invest some time in reading some Psalms to the Lord and make the determination in your heart that, okay, my only goal in this is to get to the place that I can sing this or say this to God.
Yeah.
And mean it.
That's right. With confidence,
relationally. With a sense that he's going, oh, yes.
That's right.
Say that again. I love it when I hear you say that.
Where I know the person that I'm speaking it to, and I know that it's moving their heart.
That's how the relationship happens.
Yeah.
That's how it grows.
And that is Christianity.
It is Christianity.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
because I'm
that
sitting here
is it.
thinking, think about it. I'm thinking of how institutionalized Christianity has become over the centuries. And yet this is the core of it right here. This is the core. And so for some that have been so institutionalized by Christianity, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard for you. But it is doable. And I would say with confidence, this is why we were created. We were created for this. From God's perspective, we were created for this dynamic relationship. The newer person, the newer believer, my prayer is that, oh, golly, I hope you get, brought into Christianity with this kind of revelation, that this is what it's all about.
So these people that have these NDEs, these near-death experiences, they all come back with one common thread, one thing that Jesus asked them. How well did you love? I think, it's all going to melt. Your whole life is going to melt. In one question, your whole life is going to melt down to, well, I didn't really love. I did this stuff for you, Lord. I did this, and look at all this stuff I got, for you. Mm-hmm. But you didn't love me, did you? You didn't really know me, did you? We never, I don't know, a guy. And again, I don't put much weight on these kind of things because everybody's always got a word for you. But this guy was a musician, and he was here in our service one day, and he said, Ron, this is just going to sound so weird, but I just feel like I just keep getting this impression from the Lord. And he said, I'm just going to say it to you. He said, it's going to hurt me to say this. Oh, it hurts when I say this. He said, the Lord misses you.
Oh, wow.
I said, what do you mean? He said, he misses you singing to him.
Wow.
I used to sing a lot to the Lord. Just him and me.
Wow.
So, got my guitar out for a while. I haven't stayed with it as much as I should and much as I want to, but, that's what this comes down to, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't know God, what do we have?
What are we doing?
What do we have? What do we have to give people? What do we, I want to know and be known. I want to be known. I want all my secrets, I want to know and be known like I was on that Bayonet field. Mm-hmm. I want it all just wide open. Mm-hmm. All my anger, frustration, all my fears, all of it to just be, I want to be known by God. And God goes, come on.
Yeah.
Bring it to me.
Yeah.
Bring it to me. Why have you been hiding?
Yeah.
Why have you been off over there, guilting yourself and shaming yourself and doing all this stuff? Bring it to me. Come on. Yeah. I know about it.
Right.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset.
Yeah.
I love you. I can change it. Mm-hmm. So.
Praise God for that.
Didn't think this was going this way.
Praise God. It's so refreshing, Ron. I mean, you've been in this a little bit. You've got authority because you have history with God in this, and as a profession, as a pastor, leading a church and teaching the Bible for years and years and years, and yet this is what you're testifying that it comes down to. That's attainable.
I'm so tired of having my life jerked around by people that I thought were something and had something, only to realize, no, they didn't. They didn't have anything. I gave up what was the most precious thing in the world to pursue what they were selling, only to find out they didn't have anything. It was just all emptiness. And so, I've come back to square one. This is it.
Yeah,
this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling our worship team the other night, we're in a prayer sprint right now, just, you know, if the goal of this week is nothing but the fact that we feel a little closer to Jesus at the end of it, that's worthy.
That's right.
Of a week of seeking God, a week of putting aside things, a week of letting go of things, a week of fasting things. If our hearts move 1 degree closer to the Lord, that's worthy.
That's right.
That's worthy. Now, whether we see revival fire fall and whether we see, you know, the history of our planet change, trajectory of, you know, where we're at right now, I'd love to see those things happen. I believe in praying for those things, and we're going to keep holding that up. But I think the most worthy goal is, God, I want to be closer to you.
Yeah.
You know, you said, if you will seek me, you will find me. When you search for me with all your heart, I will be found of you. Well, that sounds like, well, yeah, but my heart's not in it. But it will get there.
It'll get there.
It'll get there. If you say words, if you start saying words, awkward words, but you just keep saying them till that barrier comes down, till your heart begins to melt, till the coldness begins to melt, you can get this back. Because I know some people that are listening to this think, well, this is unattainable. No, there's no attaining.
Yeah.
There's no. This is there for you right now. You're just cold because you can't say the words yet, but you can get there.
I remember when you told the story about when you kind of drifted away from the simplicity of this. You kind of come back into acquaintance with your friend, and you're listening to a sermon online, and he says, "I know some of you pastors what's happening, and burnout and distracted and dealing with all the emotion of being distant from this." And then, you know, he said, I can tell you how to get there. And it was not rocket science. It was the simplicity of what you just said. It was just the words. I'll give you the prayers to pray. Say these words. And I remember you said, I've heard you tell that story where you're like, no way. Like you knew of that at one time, but I can't get back there. I've, you know, too much life and too much disappointment, disillusionment, whatever. And then you started to do it. And then the way you say it is that, man, my heart came back online again.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't get through sermons
I couldn't
anymore.
get through a sermon. I talk about the love of God, and I'm doing exactly what I'm doing right here.
Yeah.
I start just having a meltdown, and I'm going, "What's this all about?" And the Lord said, "Well, you've been asking me for this.
Yeah.
You've been asking me to do this in your life." What he said. Oh, man, what he said that was just such an indictment. He said, you know, he said, I know you don't want to hear this, but he said, you're in love with your ministry. Your ministry is more precious to you than this. And I thought, man, when did my identity shift from me and Jesus to Grace Church?
Wow.
When did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
But it happened.
Yeah.
It happened. I mean, this church was my identity. This church, if it rose or fell, that was my emotions would go with the church and with what was happening, with what wasn't happening, or if something bad happened. And the Lord said, you know, this wasn't what happened. This wasn't the deal. The deal was me and you. It's like, wow. Man. And then he offers this simplistic way back, and I'm thinking navigators, I'm thinking all these things that, you know, over the years I've tried a little of this and a little of that, and he's going, no, I'm going to give you the prayers in Scripture. And the bizarre thing is, they were prayers that I had prayed, and some of them he had heard me pray
in the early days.
Yeah,
you had a hold of that,
but it was routinized. That's the problem. You know, it's the problem is consistency. You know, it's David's consistency of going back to, he was the sweet psalmist of Israel to the day he died.
Yeah.
He could still, as king, after a major campaign and victory, he could still go out when the ark was in the street and being marched into the city and be a wild man of worship and just jumping and dancing and singing to the Lord. And his wife, you know, got mad at him because he was, you know, acting like a commoner. And he said, look, this is all that matters. I'm not king because of anything I did. I'm king because of God, because of my relationship with the Lord. I pray this becomes the metric that we get back to.
Me too.
That we just start measuring ourselves against, the fire that's in our own heart, for the Lord, our love for Jesus.
Agreed.
That all just sounds so nebulous when people say, I want to, be in love with Jesus, but you can get there. You can get there.
Yeah.
So, gonna end it there?
Let's end it there. I think this was awesome. Thank you.
All right.
That was great vulnerability and raw and real and awesome, and what a testimony. Praise God.
Okay.